Welcome to Re-Creationism Vision, a series that allows me, Kinja Dixon, to dive into some of the minds of people from all walks of life that have inspired me in ways that they may not even be familiar with. And today, I am so honored to bring you someone that is making a first for my series. She is the youngest of the people that I've been blessed to interview thus far. We met a few years ago. She was the youngest vendor at the opening of my theatrical performance, Re-Creation Encounter in Virginia. I was honored to get some of her merchandise as a gift. This young lady helps manage a nonprofit, Selah's Diamonds, that has benefited over 700 young ladies all across the world with purses that I believe she handmade. She's doing well in school. She's turning 11 in a few days. And I am just bubbling with joy because I'm so eager to dive into her mind to see some of the feedback that she'll give with some of the things we're going to discuss today. First and foremost, before I even go further, I just want to say I truly, truly thank you for your time. I am honored. And how beautiful are you doing this fine day?
I'm doing great, and I'm just so excited and overjoyed that you invited me here. It's such an honor, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm equally honored. And before I go further, I want to kind of nip something else in the bud that I have reflected on while we were getting prepared. I want to thank Hines Middle School. Ms. Tiona Staten was the teacher that invited me to speak in 2014 in November. And that was the first school that I ever spoke to along this journey as an author, consultant, and strategist. I never knew that I was going to be so involved with the youth when I became a consultant. And after that date in November, I have spoken now, I believe, to over about 250 schools across the world, and I have learned so much since that day. So I just want to thank Hines Middle School. I want to thank you, Miss Tiona Staten, and believe it or not, you are a primary reason how we have turned the curve and now are blessed to be speaking to this young lady right here. So I remember on June 4th, 2017, there was a post. I'm a friend of yours on Facebook. And there was a post that you shared with a picture of your mother. And it said, I want to read it exactly, no matter what she is going through, she always keeps a smile on her face. And a tear of joy came across my eyes. Because there have been so many times with these children that I've been helping where they don't have that gift. And what I want us to share with today is I want you to elaborate a little further on what that statement meant to you, because we're not just going to hear what you have going on, but I want someone who may not have that blessing to be able to take the love that you're about to share from the blessing that you have. So what do you mean when you say that? Elaborate on that for me.
So, like, whenever, like, say my mom, she's going through something that, like most people could just, like, break down, like, oh, Lord, anything like that. She always manages to keep a smile on her face, like, she just, and even if it's the point where she just wants to cry, she always makes sure she takes care of her children, takes care of her family, and just, like I said, her smile is contagious. So, like, her smile is contagious, and a lot of people look up to her. So she knows that she has to keep a smile on her face, because sometimes a smile can save someone's life or brighten up someone's day.
Wow. Sometimes we got to smile on the outside to make the inside smile, you know, and in our world, what we look at on TV and in school, sometimes we just see so much anger, and if we exhibit anger on the outside, it sometimes will affect our inside. So with that being said, I want to jump into the school part of your life. I distinctly remember so many lessons I went through coming up where I did not understand how peer pressure could hurt you. And I made a lot of mistakes along my school years which I am honored to have made, which I can now pour into others so they don't have to make those same mistakes. I want to find out, has peer pressure ever been something that you have had to deal with?
Yes.
And what happened, if you could share?
So there was a point where I guess it was popular to be rude or to bully, basically. And at that time, I wasn't really fitting in with everybody else. And I had just experienced something huge with my family. And I just was all broken down inside. And I didn't know what to do on top of not fitting in at school. So I joined in with the cool kids. And I made a huge mistake, and it truly affected how people thought of me. And now I've learned off of that, and I've gained some people's trust back.
And so, wow, you sound like you learned a valuable lesson that I guess made you a little more comfortable with not being with the in crowd or the cool kids. And so, what did you learn from that when you look back on what happened, the ending results, and how you? What was your biggest lesson from that?
I learned that sometimes like if there's a group of cool kids, you shouldn't be joining along with them breaking people down. You should be hanging out with the people who are being broken down, helping build them up and build their self-esteem so that they have a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset.
Just let it sink in. Just gotta let it sink in. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you. And what also, so people can really understand what changed my life, is when I hear things, because I have learned how to have that silent time every day. When I hear things, it's almost like I'm hearing it for the first time. And that's where mastery gets involved. So that's why I truly love tapping into the minds of our younger generation, is because if you can keep that energy that you have, like when you said what you just said, I literally had a moment like I never heard it before. And if you can stay in this zone, you just keep getting better and better at that understanding. What I love about what you said is, and I like how you did the quotation marks, the cool kids, because what I learned is the cool kids are usually the followers. They're the ones that are really in a situation where they should do some self-reflection, because they became cool most of the time by following. And I have to be honest, there was a point in my life where I followed the cool kids. Even in this arena as a speaker or a consultant, there are cool speakers, they're cool real estate agents, they're cool people at work. And what I understand from what you're saying is, if we just be ourselves and help the people that are feeling the lowest, that's where the most growth comes. And I definitely can tell you on your mission, and you're even making me more happy about this interview. Let's talk about pressure, because that's one of the things that I believe, I think we all feel that way when we're positioned with being put in that situation. But the pressure of being alone or not fitting in kind of gets us. So I'm quite sure since you learned your lesson, you had to resist a lot of things. How do you deal with that pressure when it's put in front of you?
The way I deal with it is, I think of the process of a diamond. Diamonds are put down like hundreds of thousands of miles down into the earth. Then they erupt and cool. It takes time. Just like with a human being, it takes time to mature, and then they erupt, volcanic eruption or however, and then they have to sit and cool and crystallize, So if you've already had your huge eruption, something huge happened in your life, whether it's good or bad, that means you're still cooling and crystallizing, and it's gonna take time because diamonds don't become that beautiful that quick. It takes many years, decades, centuries for them to become what many people value and love.
Wow, and it makes so much sense what you're saying, because when you fall into the victimization of peer pressure, you eliminate your diamond from forming. In 2015, I've enjoyed your time, but I have to be completely honest with you, Miss Selah. This next part is one of the parts I was so eager to get to. In 2015, when I started talking with all of these schools, in addition to the companies, colleges, I have to be honest, some of my most growth has come from the younger part of my development, the people that I've helped that have been young and under 18. And I had no idea my emails were going to start erupting with all of these questions. And the people that have been reaching out to me the most are young women under 18. But I have a few questions that I've gotten, and I would like to get your feedback that you would give them. So this is one of them, and I'm going to read it verbatim. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. I am 9 years old, and this boy that I liked asked me to kiss him. I don't want to, but most of my friends said that it is okay because everybody is doing it. What is your feedback to her?
What I would do is I would talk to my mom, because sometimes that could get serious as like you need to talk to a teacher. But if you know it's not the right thing to do, if you know you don't want to do it, don't do it, because that could affect you and it could really change your life or change people's perspective of how they think of you.
Okay. All right. This is the next one. From an 11-year-old. I'm lonely and we don't have a TV in my house. My mother is always working and we don't spend time together anymore like we used to. My cousin let me send this email from a Gmail account. So I just want to thank you again for speaking to us last week and wanted to get your advice on what I should do.
Well, many kids experience this sometimes when they feel like their relationship is falling apart with their parents. What I would do is find a time when you know that your mother is not super busy, has something to do, and just have a sit-down conversation and try to regain that relationship and try to just try to talk to her so that she knows how you feel, and because your parents, they love you no matter what, and she just wants to ensure that you're happy. So just talk to her, because I'm sure she'll understand. And if she doesn't, just keep trying to talk to her until she does.
Great answer. And this is from a 10-year-old. I didn't eat candy the whole day, and I drank water instead of soda at lunch. My mom and dad only buy soda, and they never cook vegetables with dinner. So how can I do better if all they buy is that type of food?
With this, what I would do, I would maybe ask for, a family meeting and just talk to them and try to ask them if they can buy healthier foods, and if they don't want to eat the healthier foods, you can just ask if they can buy you some healthier foods if they don't want to. And if that doesn't work, just try to be on the healthier side. Like you said, you drank water, you didn't eat candy. If they buy fried chicken, you could take the skin off and just eat the chicken part, or drink water, because that's very important, and just try your hardest to maintain what you're eating so that you can continue to be healthy.
Wow, great answers. And you literally, originally I was going to share the feedback that I gave to them after you finished, but as far as the root of every single response, you hit it on the head. Like, I'm so thank you. I'm gonna have to forward some of these emails to you if you want to help me out. But I truly appreciate that. And what I love about what you just said, which was one of the biggest points that the responder said with the 10-year-old, is how to take the skin off the chicken. So it's like, how can I make whatever they're giving me, make it the most healthiest? Because unless at a 10-year-old you don't have any real income, to go out and buy the food. So it's like, okay, how do I make the best out of this while we set up some family meetings and talk about it? And that is so beautiful. Now, before we move on to your humanitarian efforts, I want to get your thought on another important topic. Health. I was 300 pounds. I was a functional alcoholic. I didn't understand the importance of health sometimes. I changed my life because I hit my version of rock bottom. I've seen people that I've helped from that process. I've seen a lot of people, though, because our bodies are so magnificent, they believe because they're getting up and they're breathing and they're walking, they don't understand how important health is. So from the feedback that I've just gotten, plus the journey I see, so what do you do to ensure your health gets better every day?
Well, each day I make sure I drink lots of water, and I prefer fruits and vegetables rather than, like cake or, ice cream and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when I go to school, I bring my own lunch, and I bring apples and fruits, and sometimes I'll bring usually I bring like a sandwich. And I make sure I bring water to school rather than juice, so that I ensure that I continue to be healthy and have a good, food diet.
Thank you so much for the feedback you're giving. And as we get ready to get toward our new beginning, and I talk about your nonprofit, before we go forward, I want to say something to the world that I missed out for, I would say, almost 30 years of my life. For someone that's looking at this, I'm just going to give you the example of the two versions of how you can witness what this young lady is sharing. You have one version that separates themselves from the excellence and looking, oh, she thinks she all that with her pearls and giving all these good answers to the questions, talking about Zen Master and all this good stuff. That's one version. And then you have the other version. Wow, I didn't know anything about that, but it's working for her. I think I'm going to include that in my life. Ah, wow, who is she? I'm going to follow her. And that same example is the same thing that happens on adult levels. We see people that are doing things and we approach it from one or two levels. We separate from them and judge them and talk about them, or we connect with them and build them up and love them. So anybody in here that has gotten something from this situation, please, I ask you to connect with us, vibe with us, take everything that's happening, because you are a part of us. The only way you're not a part of us is if you separate and do what disintegrates our humanity on a regular basis. So I thank you, and I feel your passion, and I am walking this with you. Whether I ever see you again, I know we are helping humanity in unison. So thank you. With that being said, I want to now get into this nonprofit that you have. The name of it is Selah's Diamonds.
Yes.
You provide young ladies all over the world with these handmade purses that you make. And to fund it, you make jewelry of all kinds. And you have thus far helped send over 700 handmade purses to Tanzania, Nigeria, Senegal, Haiti, Uganda, Sierra Leone, and all over the United States. You have people wanting to buy these masterpieces at this point. You've won awards, you're writing your first book, you're managing your school excellence. You are a primary example of how those answers that you gave earlier, if you stick with them, the universe starts rewarding you for your work. And I am truly, truly, I cannot say it enough, honored for you to share and be so honest with us today. So I thank your mother and send gratitude, and I just can't thank her enough. And I'm so glad I heard that gratitude when you talked about her as well. Share, how did this start with the nonprofit? Give us the history about this.
Well, I was in first grade, and I said to my teacher, I want to help out in the world and in the community, and I want to have a nonprofit, and I don't want to start when I'm older. I just drew out pictures of purses, and then I thought Selah's diamonds, because diamonds are loved, and they're so, what girl doesn't want a diamond and a purse?
Okay, and I'm going to give this information clear for everyone that is viewing this. We have selahs.diamonds@gmail.com, selahs.diamonds@gmail.com. We have the website selahsdiamonds.com, selahsdiamonds.com. We got Instagram, also your IG. I'm getting familiar with the terminology. The IG account is selahs.diamonds1 at IG. There's a number 209-837-3527, and you're not only giving light in the US, but you're shining your light all over the world. And I just would like you to continue on this journey that you're on. I cannot tell you how proud I am of your life force and what it's manifesting. I am so honored to have this time shared with you. Once again, thank you so much, Miss Selah. I would like to thank your mother for giving us the opportunity to shoot this. I would like to thank the people that tried to peer pressure you back in the day and had you learn about that process. I want to thank all of the things I went through that I had to overcome to get here. And I salute the world. And as I always say, you are much more than what you see. I thank you. I love you. And together, we are all one. Namaste, signing off from Re-Creationism Vision.